Luanda is celebrating 450 years. Since this is a time for celebration, I think this is the best time to talk a little bit about the Angola history. Lately, I've been learning a lot of the history of Angola, but be aware that I'm not an expert or a teacher of history. So if you really want to go deep and really learn, there's a channel that teach especially Angola history that I really recommend.
This channel belongs to Dr. Alberto Oliveira Pinto.
The first known inhabitants of the territory that is now Angola were hunter-gatherer groups, often associated with Khoisan-speaking peoples. They could survive in harsh environments without agriculture, metal tools. Centuries later, Bantu-speaking people began migrating from the north, and they introduced the agriculture, iron working, ceramics, transforming daily life and allowing more stable forms of settlement. Over time, these societies became increasingly organized and complex, laying the foundations for the kingdoms that would emerge. In the north emerged the Congo Kingdom. This kingdom became one of the most powerful states in Central Africa. Further inland emerged the Dongo Kingdom, and there the kings were called Angolas. And from that name, it came the name of the country, Angola. From the same cultural world emerged the Matamba Kingdom. Here, women could hold real power. To the east emerged the Luanda Kingdom, and this kingdom formed an empire. From the Luanda world emerged another kingdom, the Luanda Shokwe Kingdom, and today they are very known for its extraordinary artistic legacy. In the Central Highlands emerged several of Vibundu kingdoms, strongly connected to caravan trade routes, linking the interior to the coast. In the northeast emerged the Kasanji Kingdom. This kingdom plays a strategic role as a political and commercial bridge between powers. And in the south emerged the Ovambu kingdoms. These were very resilient societies. After talking about the kingdoms, I think one of the best ways of seeing the legacy of these societies is here on this handicraft market. One of the most recognizable influence here is from the Luanda Shokwe Kingdom, especially on masks and carved figures. Back then, when someone wore a mask, it was no decoration. It had a meaning. For example, it could become something else like an ancestor, a spirit, or a recognized social role. Today, these objects are made for sale, but the shapes and the symbols still carry the echoes of the cultures that existed. Despite their difference, these kingdoms had fundamental principles. Land was not a commodity. It could not be bought or sold. It belonged to the community. Women often had central and political roles. The dead were never truly gone. Ancestors were present in daily life, guiding, protecting, maintaining balance between the visible and the invisible worlds. Spirituality was woven into governance, art, justice, community. Respect for the elders was universal. The oldest members of the society were the keepers of the memory, history, and wisdom. There's a saying that explains this perfectly. What an old person sees sitting down, a younger person cannot see standing up. Here, for example, it's common to hear someone say mais velho, cota, that it means older one. And this is a compliment because they are calling the person wise. In conclusion, these kingdoms had political systems, economies, diplomacy, and stable social structures. These kingdoms were developed over centuries and maintained until the late 19th century. The first contacts with the Portuguese occurred in 1482 when the Portuguese reached the Congo Kingdom, and the first contact was characterized by diplomacy, trade, and political alliance. Now let's focus on Luanda territory. This place that I am now, that is called Ilha, was a crucial place. Here lived the Mbundu people connected to the
Dongo Kingdom,
and the Bakongo people linked to the Congo Kingdom. But this place was controlled by the Congo Kingdom because here there was currency used on the time. Here was where the Zimbo shells were collected, and these shells that were used as a currency was used across several places in the Central Africa. And in 1575, Paulo Dias de Novaes arrived here, but on that time they found this place as São Paulo of Assunção de Luanda. Portuguese only came here because they had the authorization of the Congo Kingdom, because on that time they already had an alliance with the Congo Kingdom. Over time, Luanda became an important commercial center and unfortunately integrated in the transatlantic commercial networks. After Luanda, Portuguese expansion continued southwards, and as you can see on the map of that time, on the south there were no kingdoms.
I didn't find an old map, so I asked artificial intelligence to create one. It is not an exact representation, but I think it helps give a general idea of how things might have been.
There were people their living, but not real kingdoms. And that allowed the Portuguese to establish settlements and trading posts more easily. Only after the Berlin Conference, the borders were defined like we know today. And only then the Portuguese began the effective occupation of the entire Angolan territory, leading to the loss of the sovereignty of kingdoms that had governed themselves for centuries. Colonial domination only lasted about 50 to 70 years, from the early 20th century until independence on 1975. After the independence, the country still faced some challenge because they had internal wars, and I already told you what happened in Luanda. On that time, Luanda was a safer place than the rest of the province. A lot of people came here, but there were no houses for that people, so they make makeshift houses.
Only in 2002, the war in Angola officially came to an end.
Luanda, Sekelele, Wadiko. I really hope you like this video, and this was an exceptional video. I think it was important. I tried to do my best talking about a little of the history. If you need some information about Luanda, you already know you have my website, luandaguide.com. And once again, thank you so much for being here, and see you in the next time.